Students, welcome to your IT class. So today we are going to start with our unit 5 green skills, and from there we'll start with our session 1, that is natural environment and art. So let's start our class for today. So before starting our class, let's do a small recap from the previous session. So in the previous session we had done session 3 and session 4 from entrepreneurial skills, and in session 3 we had gathered knowledge about the difference between an entrepreneur and employment. Okay, so in the session 3 we had gathered knowledge that entrepreneurship is creating and owning up, okay, an enterprise and which works to solve a problem, okay, for the people, for the customers, okay, and it caters to the actual problem of the people. Then on the other hand, we had gathered knowledge that an employee, okay, works for certain enterprise or a company, and he or she is not the owner of that particular company for whom he or she is working for. All right, so we had also gathered knowledge that an entrepreneur contributes to the country's economy. All right, and his contribution is unlimited, whereas an employee contributes only towards his company under which he or she is working. All right, then we had also gathered knowledge that about the risks of an entrepreneur. All right, so there are certain risks which an entrepreneur has to take up. That is, first one is there is no guarantee of paycheck. So in the initial startup there is no guarantee of paycheck, that it is the money or the regular income is very much limited. All right, so there is no regular income, okay, not even for weekly, also some for days also in the initial days of the startup. Then there is no personal time for them. So no personal time means no family time at the initial stages. And there sometimes an entrepreneur becomes emotionally taxing. So emotionally taxing means they may become emotional while taking up the different candidates or choosing the right candidates for their ventures. Then apart from the risks, okay, the rewards of an entrepreneur are much higher. That is, first one is that an entrepreneur leaves their passion. So as we know that entrepreneur creates an idea, all right, and through that idea he builds up his enterprise. So that is his passion he lives, and every moment of his work he enjoys it. He never feels the burden of his work. Then he is the great boss because he owns his enterprise and he becomes the boss of it. All right, and there is no one to look after him or to guide him. So therefore he becomes the critic and the motivator for himself. Then own time, he has his own time, okay, there is no fixed time for him for his or her work. All right, be it day or be it night, okay, and there is no particular fixed places there that here where he or she has to go and work for it. And at the same time there is a lot of monetary gains, okay, after the business flourishes or the entrepreneur becomes the venture becomes a business. Then there are certain challenges which an entrepreneur faces. That is, the first one is giving up a career. So we know that an entrepreneur cannot do two things at the same time. So he has to give up his career, that is his job, and then he can start up his own venture. Then team building, he should be a good team builder, okay, in choosing the right candidate and how much amount of money he is willing to pay for to that candidate, okay, in order to get the actual what he is going to give to his company. All right, so he has to be a good team builder. Then the entrepreneur also has to be good in cash flow management. So how to manage the cash flow in paying the debt repayment, paying the salaries of the employees. So all this he should have to manage it fluently. Then again in time management, all right, so there is again challenge in managing the time between his professional and personal lives, okay. Then proper skills, proper people skills means a entrepreneur should have a good communication skills, and if he or she is good in communicating, having a good rapport with his customers as well as the employees, then it can go a long way for his venture. Then decision making, okay, so as we know that an entrepreneur has to take a lot of decision and hundreds of decision at the particular day, and taking the right decision at the right time maybe sometimes becomes stressful for an entrepreneur. Then we had also gathered knowledge about the risks, okay, so an entrepreneur has to take certain risks, and he should take the risks in such a way that it as an advantage for the growth of his company. All right, so these were the certain challenges which an entrepreneur faces. Then we had in session 4 we had gathered knowledge about the 4 different steps which is involved in the entrepreneurial development process. So firstly, the first step, under it we have the business idea, that is the finding the right business idea on which he or she can start up his entrepreneurial venture. Then after that idea, in his mind, he has to develop that business plan in order to execute that particular idea. All right, then there will be certain drafts and amendments, okay, in order to execute the plan. Then second step is getting money or the finances from different sources in order to raise up or start up his venture. Then thirdly, the understanding the customers, okay, the needs to pay to in order to get paying customers, because the customers only pay for the service of the for the service and the product which an entrepreneur will sell, okay, but not for any endorsements, okay, endorsements by some film stars or something like that, okay, fancy endorsements. The customers are not going to go it. They will only pay if it solves their, or it caters to the needs of the actual problems, okay. And lastly, to launching the product or the services. So an entrepreneur should know when and where to launch the product, okay, at a proper time and at a proper place. So all these are the four steps which are involved in the entrepreneurial development process, okay, which we have gathered from session 3 and 4 from entrepreneurial skills. So let's come to our today's session here. So the learning outcome of today's session, that is natural environment and us. After this session, you will have knowledge on what makes a natural environment, okay, and what are the different types of resources we get, and how environment is crucial for us. So these are the 3 points which we are going to cover here, and you are going to have knowledge from it. So let's start here. So here we have our session 1 from unit 5, green skills, natural environment and us. So as you can see here, so Leo Tolstoy once said that one of the first conditions of happiness is that the link between a man and the nature shall not broken. But you can see how correct he is, and we are still having nature supporting us. So once the nature ceases to help and support us, we shall not remain, and all the living beings will someday become history. And in this session, we are going to cover up the vital relationship between natural environment as well as us, okay, and how much we need to do to honor this relationship, and what we should do in order to honor the relationship between the nature and the human beings. So first, let us know what makes the natural environment. So everything, as we can see around us, all right, the earth, the air, the food chain, the plants, animals, other human, okay, the water, the sky, and many things makes our natural environment. And the natural environment affects of the lives of all living beings. So as you can see, you can have the definition over here. Please underline what is natural environment. And then the natural environment again is subcategorized into 2, that is the living environment and the non-living environment. So the plants, the animals, the human beings and other living organisms, they together they form the living environment. And the non-living components such as the oil, rock, okay, air, water and sun, together they form the non-living environment, okay. So this makes up our environment natural. So here we have the different types of resources over here, as you can see. So we are surrounded by many resources which are all around us, and the resources are available around us and can be categorized into many categories, such as first one is the natural resource, okay. So the resources which we get from our nature. Then we have renewable and non-renewable resources, and third one is the exhaustible and non-exhaustible resources. So let's start here with the natural resources. So from the name itself, you can come to know that the resources which we get from our nature are the natural resources. So resource word basically means that a source of supply of something, and since the beginning we the humans have been dependent on the nature for different available things which are freely available to us. You can see the water which we get from rivers and ocean, the forest, animals, rock, sun, the air, the land, okay, the minerals around us, and so forth. All right, so all these freely are freely available resources and are our natural resources, and they form the basis of the life on earth. So human beings have been using these natural resources for its survival and to live on the planet as well. So, and we depend on these natural resources for our survival. And the natural resources are also dependent on one another. Now, let's see an example over here. Just take for example, for instance, that the water dries up in a particular area. Then what will happen? The people living in that area will have to struggle for survival. And the struggle for the survival will be even more as of all the vegetations, the plants, forests also depend upon water for their survival. So the removal of one natural resource will lead to the removal of other natural resources, and in turn we the human beings will suffer. Okay, so this is all about your natural resources. As you can see from the picture here, it is given about the different natural resources which we get from our nature. Then next we have is the renewable and non-renewable resources. So renewable means which can be renewed, and non-renewable means which cannot be renewed or regenerated. So from natural resources is again further categorized into renewable and non-renewable resources. So first one is the renewable resources. So these are the resources whose used up quantity is replaced on its own by the nature, okay, and is producing them constantly. Now for example, the wood, the timber which we are using, the solar energy, water, okay, and whatnot. So these are the some natural resources, and we have been regularly consuming them, okay, and the nature is again continuously reproducing them, okay, and thus these are getting renewed always. So the renewable resources are also sometimes called as infinite resources, okay. Then some examples of renewable resources you can give as some solar energy, then water, timber, wood, biomass, and so forth. Then next one we have is the non-renewable resources. Now non-renewable resources means which cannot be renewed, okay, which cannot be generated, and at the same time the percentage of consuming is much faster than its renewal rate, okay. So here we have non-renewable resources. So a natural resource that takes time for its regeneration, and it cannot be replaced or regrown at a scale which is comparable to its consumption, is a non-renewable resource. And in other words, we can say that its renewal rate is far slower than its consumption, okay. That means we are consuming more and the rate of regeneration is very much less or slower. For example, you can see here, so it takes millions of years in order to produce certain earth ores, whereas these are consumed at a very fast rate. And you can give these examples of non-renewable resources as the petroleum, then you can see coal, natural gas, or natural oil and gas, earth minerals, metal ores, okay, nuclear power, and so forth, okay. So these will come under non-renewable resources. Then we have next one is the exhaustible and non-exhaustible resources, okay. Now there is another way of categorizing natural resources. So these are non-exhaustible resources, that is infinitely available natural resources that the living being on earth can never consume to finish them, and they are known as non-exhaustible, which will never exhaust, okay. Then they are referred to as non-exhaustible, or you can say inexhaustible. For example, no matter how much we consume the solar energy, we can never exhaust it, we can never finish it. So solar energy is an example of inexhaustible or non-exhaustible resources. Then we have other examples of inexhaustible resources which can be categorized as wind energy, tidal energy, and so forth, okay. Then next one we have is the exhaustible resources, okay. So the natural resources that are finite in quantity, limited in quantity, and the recurring use of this is reducing their quantities at a fast rate. Since these have the finite quantity, they will exhaust one day, and such resources are called as exhaustible resources. For example, you can see as coal, okay, which we extract from the coal mines, is very much limited in quantity and is an exhaustible resource. All right, so this is all about your exhaustible and non-exhaustible resources. Then our next topic comes as how environment is crucial for us, okay. So how the environment is very much important for us. So as we can see, the natural environment, okay, which around us is the reason for life on earth, all right, and the natural habitat is crucial for life, and growth is possible only because of the natural resource and the natural environment around us. Now for example, you can see that life on a planet, it depends upon the oxygen and the water which is provided by the natural environment. So further, we breathe the air and we produce carbon dioxide, okay, which is balanced by the forest and the plant kingdom. So in fact, you can see the plants and the forest also remove other type of pollutants from the environment, again which results from the modern age use of the environment. So you can see here that greenery which is all around us not only gives us fresh air but also makes our environment stress free. Okay, land with forest which is known to avoid floods, are as trees are there to protect us, okay. So the sun regulates the temperature of our planet and makes it habitable. So this is how the natural environment is very much important for a human life. So here you can see a following figure lists some facts about how environment impacts us. So as you can see over here, so each tree can absorb up to 48 pounds of carbon dioxide per year. Then we have again see hiking, so through the mountains, okay, which we find it very natural. So hiking can help to fend off the heart diseases, hypertension, diabetes, okay, osteoporosis, arthritis, then anxiety. Again, it fights, okay, obesity by burning on the average 100 calories for every mile walk. So this is how the natural environment helps us in our day-to-day life in maintaining a balanced life. Then you can see how sunlight is the best and the only natural source of vitamin D. That's why our parents tell us to go out and take the sunlight for some time of the day. Then a short walk in the nature, okay, can again reduce rumination, then as well as calm activity in the subgenual prefrontal cortex, okay, which is again responsible for regulating negative emotions. As we have already got in our stress management, a walk in the nature will reduce our stress levels. So this is how the environment affects us, okay, and it is very much important for us, all right, in order to survive in the world, all right. Then next we have the summary for here. So that was all about our session 1 here. So here we have our summary for today's class. That is, the natural environment, okay, is a term that collectively refers to all the living beings and the non-living things surrounding us and which occur naturally on earth. Then we had also gathered knowledge about the resources, the different resources which are available around us, and it can be categorized into many categories, such as you can see the first one is the natural resource which is naturally available to us, such as we can categorize as the land, the air, the water, sun, etc. Then we have again renewable resources, the natural resources which can be reproduced within a few years or decades, like trees, solar energy, water, etc. Then we have non-renewable resources. Non-renewable means cannot be regenerated, okay, and the rate percentage is much more faster in consuming rather than in regenerating. So the natural resources that can be, okay, that cannot be reproduced at the rate similar to the rate of their consumption are called as non-renewable resources. An example we can give as petroleum, coal, natural oil and gas, okay. Then we have the third category as the exhaustible, okay, exhaustible or inexhaustible. We have exhaustible or non-exhaustible, okay, which is also known as inexhaustible. So resources, so available resources, okay, natural resources that the living being on earth can never consume to finish it are known as non-exhaustible or inexhaustible resources. Now for example, we have no matter how much, okay, the solar energy we consume, we can never exhaust it. The next one we have is the non-exhaustible, okay. The non-exhaustible resources again are the natural resources which are finite, limited in quantity, and recurring use of them is reducing them at a faster rate. For example, we can give as coal. Then the natural environment which is which we find around us is the only reason for life on earth, and the natural habitat is very much crucial for life, and the growth is only possible because of the natural resources and the natural environment which we find around us, all right. So this is all about our today's session here, session 1, that is natural environment and us, all right. So as the unit tests are going on, so there will be no home assignment for you all. So after this video I will give you the link for your exit card. Please click on it and write the responses and submit, all right, and at the same time keep learning. Thank you, have a nice day.